I thought I would talk about INFPs. I've been wanting to talk about INFPs for a long time, but I haven't really been able to figure out what I want to say or how I want to say it. And I think it's because INFPs are confusing. I've got a little bit different of a setup here. I can't find my little stand that I put my thing on, and it just like drove me insane. And then I couldn't get everything situated right, and I'm just like all discombobulated. It's probably because I'm trying to talk about a personality type that, in some ways, I completely understand, INFPs. And in other ways, I just want to take them and be like, oh! Not really, but kind of. I can't help but wonder if INFPs, if they're something of an enigma to themselves as well. Or if you just completely understand and get yourself all the time. I was just thinking that as I was getting things together. Like, I was just wondering if you were ever like, ugh, self? Seriously? INFPs, when they are in like the difficult zone or whatever, they are if you looked up, if you got on your computer and you were like, you looked up the term harder than it needs to be, then you would see an, like, INFP, like probably when you know, like staring back at you. Because INFPs make things so much harder than they need to be. So since I don't even exactly know what to say, and I'm not even sure I have anything that I could say that's going to be helpful in any way, although there's tons of stuff that I'd like to say, and I've started talking about INFPs like I've been driving before, and I started talking about INFPs as if I was going to record a video, and I can't even tell you how many times I was just like driving in my car talking to myself. Like at 5 minutes in, I was just like blah 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 blah. I was thinking of the things that I wanted to say, and then I just started saying them. But I was talking like I was talking to you guys, and then I stopped. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're ridiculous. And then I would be like, yeah, but if I did have it on, then what about the other thing? Like over and over, I found myself talking to myself about INFPs, and which is funny because I think INFPs spend a lot of time talking to themselves about themselves. So. You guys have got me doing it too, which is not surprising. I think I'm just going to start with the functional stack because it's as good a place as any. So let's give it a shot. Alrighty. Here we have the most confusing personality type in the world. Here we have an INFP personality type. So, introverted feeling. What is going on here? I just gave Sasha a bath. Like a complete and total. She looks beautiful, but I just keep finding, you know how it goes. So, introverted feeling is the primary lens that an INFP views the world through. This is a decision-making function as a first function, even though they are perceivers over here, which as someone pointed out, I didn't say in a very proper way in other videos, and I thank you for doing that, even though I got pissed off and like I'm a know-it-all at first. I actually really liked how you said that, and I don't even know if I did know that. You're a perceiver if you have an extroverted perceiving function before you have an extroverted judging function. So this is the first extroverted judging function for an INFP, which is TE, extroverted thinking. So that's why they're a perceiver, because they're going to look at the outside world and they're just going to look at it first. They're going to observe. And their observer is NE, extroverted intuition. So this is Maverick, FI, and then NE is their goose. And their third function is SI, so that's introverted sensing, and I've had a few videos on what that could mean and what this could mean, and an article even said sensing is one of the least understood in the entire MBTI, and I kind of agree with that. I don't know where I've quite fallen with it, but the accepted definition of SI is that it is like a recall and memories, experiences and things like that. And also seeking data. I read that today when I was like looking at these and thinking about it and puzzling. Not for very long though. And then TE comes last. So that's extroverted thinking. So TE looks around and it seeks to bring order to the world around you more than to like thoughts and ideas and concepts. So TE is a you know, it's logic and analysis in your environment, in planning, especially long-term planning, I've found, for TE. It seems like people that really use their TE really want to use it on long-term plans. TE seems to be really good for that. I've got TI, you know, first, and then I've got like TE somewhere down the line, so, you know, I'm kind of like, what ifs. Was I always like that? I think I kind of was always like that. I think when I was little, I saved a bunch of money. I saved $100 to go to Disneyland, and it was like really like a long ways away. I had it all saved in this little thing, in this little fanny pack. I put it in my fanny pack. Gosh, what a different little kid I was. See, maybe I was an INFP when I was little. Actually, I'm going to add the ENTP, because I think it'll kind of help me explain this a little bit better. So, here we have, I always say that, here we have, so now we have the ENTP and the INFP held up together. Maybe this is more helpful for me because I'm used to like understanding my own cognition, so it kind of helps me to be able to explain, and then that for this would mean this. So as you can see, we have extroverted intuition in common, and I have mentioned before, but extroverted intuition in your top two functions, if you have that in common with someone else, it's a really amazing thing. It's rare to find people with intuition in their top two functions there, and when you're the same kind of intuition, so when it's extroverted, it's like unreal, because there's just something about someone else possessing this in their top two functions that they can follow you so well, and it's almost better when it's the second function, I think. I just realized that, because when you have NeNe as your first function with another NeNe user, I have found anyway, as a top function, it's too strong in another person almost. It's shocking, first of all, because somebody else is like bouncing around just as much as you are. Like an ENFP or another ENTP, like if you've never experienced it before, first of all, you're like, what the heck? Somebody else does that? You know, like, somebody else can do that? And at first you're like, wow, that's cool. And then you're like, that's weird. I don't know if I like it that somebody else can do that. Being able to follow each other is really cool, but it's almost like, it's just eerily similar, you know? And I also think that too, NeNe as a first function, it's just exhausting. At least for me. Maybe not for all extroverts, but for me it is freaking exhausting to be around another NeNe Dom. So there's something about when you have another function here, like kind of like diluting the NeNe a little bit, like putting like, I don't know, NeNe as the second function is just a really amazing thing. You know, like INTPs have NeNe as their second function. INFPs have NeNe as their second function. Obviously, you guys already know they're some of my favorite people. And then INFJs have NI as their first function. So the mix is different. And I think that's a good thing, because it puts a little different of a spin on things. You know, NI is introverted intuition instead of extroverted, but you can still follow the abstract thoughts and, you know, go off on the stream of consciousness and ponder and what if and all that. And INTP as well. INTP is quite a bit different from INFP. INTPs are the best people, as I've said, to like just go like really just hammer a topic. Like, if you want to just, like, hammer a topic, like, beat it to death even, then you want an INTP. Like, I do want to do that a lot of the time, you know? But INTP usually will be still, like, they'll still talk about it when I'm like, I can't do it anymore. INFP, they're better for topic jumping, I think. Probably because, you know, INTP has TI here, so they're wanting to think something through. INFP has FI here, so they don't need to like hammer out all the details of a topic. They will talk to you about something for pretty much as long as you want to talk about it, you know, and then they're like, okay, cool, we can go on to the next thing. They're always looking for the meaning behind the meaning. INFPs are huge on that. They're connecting the unconnected. They're seeing little similarities. INFPs can be hysterical hysterical. They're really good with words. They love words. They love play on words, and so do ENTPs. So this is something that they completely have in common, because they could just volley back and forth with things all day, like totally abstract, like especially with texting and emojis and stuff like that. If the INFP likes to do that, then it's just like that, like nobody else would freaking get it at all. It doesn't look like it says anything, but for some reason, this emoji at some time meant this. And then for the rest of eternity, when you're texting that person, then that emoji means that. And then, but then you take that, you'll play on words with that. Like, you'll have your secret meaning for it, but then you even make it like mean something else, and then it's extra tricky, you know, like a pun of the pun of an emoji. Like, that's how it gets. And then it can keep going like that. But it's awesome because ENTP's minds think like that, but there's something about an INFP that breaks it open. Like, it breaks open your extroverted intuition that, like, you know, was already dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, but something about an INFP just like cracks that wide open. It's kind of like a Pandora's box kind of thing, because you already think your extroverted intuition is awesome, you know, like whoever has it thinks it's awesome. I don't know if everybody else, maybe everybody has one of these like kind of people that makes their like perceiving function just like woo. Somebody described this kind of a connection as a flash of inspiration. And that is completely what it's like. It's like a flash of inspiration when your NeeeNe gets ignited. It's just like the coolest thing, you know, and you can just keep going with it. And it's like you've just found this like present, because although you know people that can like follow with you, not everybody makes it go, you know, and so it's not only somebody that can follow it with you, but like somebody that's like egging you on, or even if not egging you on, they're entertained by it and they like it, and you know, and they will go along and add their 2 cents, which will just like make you like keep like getting worse, like, but it's so much fun. So this is Goose, and it's feeding information to Maverick, introverted feeling, so that introverted feeling can make decisions about the world, categorize, you know, beliefs, morals, plans, who you are as a person. All of that comes down to like the INFPs, who they are is all built in here, and then they look at the world around them to keep on building those models. So like an INTP would use TI to build, you know, models to understand the world around them. INFP uses FI to do that. So instead of what they think about it, it's how they feel about it. Everything is based on how an INFP feels on the inside. And a lot of the time, you are not going to see how an INFP feels on the outside really feels.